Numerology podcast. I am your host, Novalee. I'm a professional numerologist and writer. And in this podcast, we're just gonna nerd out, which means we're gonna talk names, we're gonna talk numbers, numerology, astrology, the connections between the different esoteric fields. We'll do case studies and deep dive into repeating numbers. If you have numbers that are following you around, showing up everywhere, we'll talk about those. And that's actually what we're going to talk about today. But I just want to mention that I just found out that the Numerology podcast is number 3 on FeedSpot's top 10 numerology podcasts that you must follow in 2020. Shout out to us for being on the list and having made top 3 in our first year of existing and sharing about numerology. Today we're going to talk about seeing repeating numbers. Are you seeing repeating numbers? Do you have numbers that, follow you around everywhere? Because this is one of the questions I get asked all the time. What is up with the repeating numbers? So many people have this question, and here is my answer. It could be that you see sequences like 111, 222, 369, and so on. Or it could be your birth date that you see, or some, lucky or auspicious number that you feel connected to. It could be something that you have from childhood. It might show up in dates, on the plates of passing cars, in prices, when the clock strikes 22:22 if you're on military time, or 1111 if you're not. It's kind of a widespread phenomenon, like seeing and having like lucky numbers and seeing them somewhere and asking for signs in that way. Most people get excited when their number keeps popping up, as it feels like a confirmation, like you're synchronized with a higher power, you're in a state of flow, and I get it, but I'm actually here to burst your bubble just a tiny bit, because repetitive numbers are one of the most basic ways that your personal guides, ancestors, angels, passed on helpers are trying to get your attention. Because we all have, at any given time in our life, an assigned team. And this team might change over time, might get new players. This is your team of guardian angels, past loved ones, and they're all standing by to help you. Most of them do not have a firm physical grasp on the world of the living, but they are always trying to support and show up for you in any way they can. Now, a repeated number showing up is kind of like someone honking from a car in a parking lot that you're just walking through. And you can keep walking and just take this like honking as a sign of being on track. Or you could go find the car, get in it, and have a conversation with your guides that are deeper and more profound than a sequence of numbers or repetitive numbers. Who knows, they might take you on a ride more fulfilling and exciting than the one you're on right now. So my advice for anyone seeing repeating numbers is to slow down. Make a conscious effort to connect. Open up to the spiritual world. Actively engage with the power that's on your side. Any kind of meditative action, like divination tool, meditation, any way you do this is the right way for you. So if you do not meditate, but you do other things, it could be that you doodle, you color, you do gardening, you do knitting, whatever. You could dance, you could sing in the shower, like all these creative states where part of you is busy doing something. Some kind of repetitive task is sometimes good, and your mind goes like a little blank and a little open. Often that's where, answers come through. And if you have a meditation practice, you can dedicate it, you can focus on that, you can set an intention that you want to know more about these numbers. Of course, you can, if you see angel numbers, and angel numbers are repeated, so like 444, 555, stuff like this. You can always Google it, and there's many people that have written a lot about angel numbers and the meanings. But I find that when people see numbers, they have a specific message just for that person, just for you. And you taking the time to listen is really important because the mental image of a bunch of unemployed angels just standing around throwing repeating numbers at their charge to get their attention, it's just kind of sad and hilarious. Please give your spirit team a call. Now, for some people, the numbers are a very specific message that can be decoded by a numerologist. I've had a few clients who were seeing numbers or had, lucky numbers all their lives that actually showed up in their numeroscope and name vibrations. Or even numbers mirrored in a new numeroscope and new name vibrations that were the best match for the change they were seeking. This, of course, means that their angels wanted help with releasing old patterns and paths for the soul they were here to help. And our guides are a lot more literal and specific than we think if we take the time to listen to the whole message they're trying to deliver. So of course, if you need some fun to decipher the numbers, then I'm here for you. But I really say, sit with it for a bit. See, when do they show up? In what kind of situation? What kind of mood were you in? Who were you thinking of? Do you have other things that pop in all the time, whether it pops into your mind or around you? Have you picked certain songs? I feel like that's often a sign from my spiritual team. They will send me songs. I will wake up with songs in my head that I have not listened to for years. This morning, I woke up with You Fill Up My Senses, and I have not heard that song in 10 years or more. And that was totally a sign from a specific loved one that has passed for me. Be the detective in your own life. While it's great to Google, often the message is super personal and specific and probably something you need right now. And of course, it's lovely to see 11 and 11, but our brain is also trained to look for patterns. So while there is a spiritual element, sometimes it's also just that you get happy when you see a certain sign, and that can also be totally enough. Now, if you want help decoding the numbers of your birthday, numeroscope, names, then I have sessions for that. I have the appetizer session for dipping your toes and the name change session for stepping fully into who you truly are. I also have the personal numerology map if you just want to know everything that I can see, but you're not quite ready for a name change. Thank you so much for listening to the Numerology Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and share this. Anyone you know who might see repeating numbers or have wondered about this phenomenon in their own life.